Good news, it looks like we may have a date for Microsoft's Xbox Series X July game event showcase. PS5 gets its first officially confirmed 120 frames per second AAA game, and could Sony be so shrewd as to announce PS5 pre-orders and release date on or around Microsoft's Series X July showcase, and more, all in today's video. So stay tuned, stay informed, and keep it Foxy Games UK. We'll be back right after this. Hello again, it's Friday, July 3rd. Welcome back, Foxy Games UK new and existing subscribers. So it seems a lot of you enjoyed Wednesday's totally unscripted video and really requested I do more of them, so here I go again, doing my utmost to minimize mistakes and cut down on editing duties. So let's start with another rumoured potential Sony Interactive Entertainment new studio acquisition. Seems as good a place as any, right? Well, word on the street is Sony are reportedly interested in acquiring a studio with a proven track record in multiplayer experiences, presumably in a bid to bolster its online multiplayer presence in the next generation. We know PlayStation Studios as a whole have pretty much mastered the art of single player story/narrative heavy experiences, but are somewhat still slightly behind the curve when it comes to its own online multiplayer content. Now Sony are aware of this too, no doubt, and are looking into Digital Extreme's direction. In really that if this rumor holds any water, Sony are in talks with the company that owns the studio behind Warframe and are reportedly at negotiation stage. Chinese holding company formerly Multi-Dynamic, now Liu, has a 61% stake in Digital Extremes, of which reportedly cost Liu $73 million. Warframe has a huge following on PS4, Xbox One and PC, and most recently launched on Nintendo's portable Switch. Now Digital Extremes are a Canadian studio with a long and studied track record. Certainly the studio would benefit immensely from a company like Sony as budgets increase, while Digital Extremes maintains a lot of its creative freedom. Could be interesting. Stay tuned to Foxy Games UK for an update on this story as it unfolds. And in other news, after much criticism and downplaying of PS5's variable frequency featured Zen 2 CPU, particularly by Microsoft itself, followed by many of its most loyal Xbox fan base, well, Xbox users who really didn't have a clue what they were talking about when they took to social media spreading misinformation in that PS5 will barely be able to push 60 frames per second gaming, let alone 120. Well, like most of the nonsense propagated on Twitter these days, these claims were woefully untrue, as racing aficionados Codemasters has revealed that its upcoming Dirt 5 will have an option for a silky smooth 120 frame per second mode on PS5. PSU.com reported in the latest issue of official PlayStation Magazine UK, development director Rob CORP confirmed Dirt 5 will feature a 120 frame per second mode, and also praised the PS5 DualSense controller, describing it as great and offering something new and unique for the racing franchise. Here's a quote. "The DualSense is great. When we got the tech demo up and running, the whole studio came around and everybody wanted to go. It offers something new and unique, and we felt it fits really well for racing, especially for a game with such diversity of content and cars. The power of PS5 also means that we will have an option for 120 frames per second, which is very exciting for the racers who know that every frame counts." Good news then. So Dirt 5 is due for release on October 9 across a slew of platforms, including PS5, PS4, PC, Stadia, Xbox Series X, and Xbox One. So much for PS5's comparatively limited, weaker CPU. Now speaking of Xbox Series X, we know that the Game Awards founder Jeff Keighley is teaming up with Xbox for a summer Game Fest collaboration, and it looks like the next big Xbox event could finally have a date. Reported via XboxWire.com and announced by Jeff Keighley as part of the, as I say, Summer Games Fest, Xbox is proud to reveal that Summer Games Fest demo event will be live on Xbox One from July 21st to July 27th. Now, Microsoft promised there will be more than 60 brand new game demos for upcoming unreleased Xbox games available to check out for free. Microsoft advised gamers to look out for the special Game Fest demo tile on your Xbox One dashboard that week to find the collection of available demos. And these demos will only be up on the Xbox dashboard for a week, so you might want to get there quite quickly because some might be republished to the demo channel later, but many will just simply evaporate at the end of the week, so really be sure to check them out while they're available. So it ain't hard to tell, thank you Nas, that Microsoft Xbox event should more or less fall in between the 21st and 27th of July. Fingers crossed. Now the date is more of a window, so I'm not entirely sure what's happening there, and I hope Microsoft announce something more concrete soon, and they had better, especially if the following rumor is true, as it could be that Sony will announce PS5 pre-orders and a console launch at some point this month, and that's launch date. Rumor has it the whole thing will go down on the 13th of July, though as rumors go, we'll have to wait and see about that. I heard about this yesterday afternoon, and though this individual could be right, they could also be wrong. Either way, I wasn't prepared to dedicate an entire video just for one unsubstantiated rumor, particularly from an individual I've never heard of. That's kind of scraping the barrel for me. Gotta try and uphold those standards when and where possible. Though, for hypothetical sake, say Sony want to exercise the bitchier side of the business, it could reveal its PS5 pre-order price and system launch date on the very same day Microsoft hold its July Xbox Series X and potentially Xbox Series S game event. Wouldn't that be utterly ruthless and perhaps a little risky of Sony? For sure, they'd have to be supremely confident about its pricing strategy, or extremely worried about leaks getting the jump on timed planned announcements, particularly with the information spreading like wildfire regarding Microsoft's entry next-gen system Xbox Series S, if indeed it truly qualifies as next-gen. I mean, the more I learn about the Series S model, the more unappealing it becomes. You see, I just can't shake the feeling that Xbox Series S seems remarkably similar to the Nintendo Switch spec back in March 2017, a last-gen system with some next-gen features. Now, if the Series S spec is totally legit, then I do not recognize this system as a bona fide next-gen platform, because Series S seems more like a souped-up PS4 Pro. I mean, these are the alleged speculations, so you can draw your own conclusions. 20 compute units, providing 4 T-flops of power, 7.5GB of RAM for games. I assume there's another 2.5 or maybe 3.5 for the OS. A much slower GPU, very limited ray tracing, apparently has no disk drive, and that's a real deal breaker for me, to be honest. The Series S model's GPU is still based on the RDNA2 architecture, but seems even weaker than the Xbox One X with its 40 compute units and 6 T-flops of power. Now, I know there's a big difference between the architectures, but still, you know, on average, they're probably roughly the same then. Now, at this point, the only thing Series S has going for it is the fast SSD storage and its faster CPU, which is apparently identical to its bigger brother's Series X. Honestly, if you've got the money to buy a next-gen system, then make sure you're buying a true next-gen system. Seriously, if you're a serious gamer, save up the extra $200 and go for the Series X model if you really want a next-gen Xbox, because I can totally see Series S being adopted as the go-to system for casuals who are really only interested in playing FIFA, COD and Fortnite too. It really seems like Microsoft built this system mostly for services like Game Pass and xCloud. Even before it launches, it's already obsolete. You may as well stick with Xbox One X if you can live with 30 FPS gaming. So yeah, I don't see Series S and I working well together. The games are going to be seriously compromised visually. Yeah, you'll get that sweet 60 frames per second performance, but it also feels like a complete reversal of the current gen situation. You know, the weaker CPU but stronger GPU. I'm not expecting the Series S to be the most balanced system out there next generation. I think I'll opt for a PS5 and Series X combo. I mean, at this point, the Series S feels like it only exists to undercut PS5. Now, the Series S is rumored to cost $299 US, and I guess that looks a lot better to the eyes of the casual gamer than a $399 PS5 digital edition, or say the fully featured 4K Blu-ray SKU for $499, which is a very short-term strategy for Microsoft in a bid to win really the price war against Sony next gen, even if the hardware is incredibly weak in many areas. So Xbox Series S, aka Lockhart, is a cut down, really a huge cut down from the Series X's 52 compute units to just 20 compute units. Now, didn't we hear over and over again, following PS5's lead system architect Mark Cerny's TED Talk, that 36 compute units pales in comparison to 52, and that would mean PS5 is going to really struggle next gen. But 20 compute units though, 20. The hypocrisy is beyond embarrassing now. Seriously, it's time to stop. Now I'll leave you with this final thought. I am not the biggest fan of digital only, many of you should know that by now, but you know, gosh, I guess what I'm attempting to say is that with the route Sony has taken in offering 2 PS5 SKUs, at least with whichever PS5 system you purchase, you are guaranteed to have an identical gaming experience. Downgrade impossible. Though, what say you? Go ahead, sound off, share your thoughts and opinions on today's news, because that unfortunately brings us to the end of another video, but let's continue the discussion cordially in the comments. And for your current and next gen news updates, rumor and rampant speculation, hit the like button, spread the word, and yes, keep it locked to Foxy Games UK. Subscribe to Foxy Games UK, remember to hit the notification bell so you never miss content. Thumbs up if you like it here, and help us reach more like-minded gamers simply by sharing this video. And you can consider supporting Foxy Games UK via Patreon, link in this video's description. I truly appreciate the support. That concludes our time together on this Friday. I hope you have a great weekend. It was certainly fun hanging out. Until the next video, play games, not corporations.